Urgent Las Vegas Raiders fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Las Vegas Raiders updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, Raiders Nation, buckle up because today's update is packed with some exciting developments that could have a major impact on how your team shapes up for the 2025 NFL season. Now, I know fans are always eager to see what's happening behind the scenes, especially when it comes to roster moves, free agency, and draft picks. And let me tell you, there's a lot to unpack here, so stick with me because everything I'm about to share is vital for understanding where the Raiders are headed and what they're trying to build moving forward. First off, the Raiders have been busy in the draft, especially in the wide receiver room. They've drafted two promising young talents, Donte Thornton and Jack Beck, in this year's NFL draft. Thornton, a blazing fast receiver out of Utah, has shown flashes of elite speed and playmaking ability. Beck, from LSU, is known for his precise route running and solid hands. These are exciting additions, and they signal the team's commitment to developing young receivers for the future. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite these draft picks, the Raiders are still in a position where they need to add more veteran presence to their wide receiver core. Right now, Jakobi Meyers is the clear leader, a proven slot receiver who has shown he can be a reliable target. Meyers, coming from New England, has been a solid addition, but beyond him, the team's depth chart is a bit thin. Yes, Beck and Thornton are intriguing prospects, but rookies and young players can be unpredictable in their first year. What the Raiders really need is a seasoned veteran, a guy who can come in and provide leadership, consistency, and that extra spark in clutch moments. And here's the good news for Raiders fans, the team still has a healthy cap space, around $36.7 million, which is more than enough to make a splash in free agency. So many fans are wondering, who could they target? Well, one name that's been floating around as a potential reunion is none other than Amari Cooper. That's right, Cooper, the five-time Pro Bowler who spent part of his career in Dallas after a successful stint with the Raiders, is still available on the open market. And guess what? There's been speculation that Las Vegas might be interested in bringing him back home. Now, why would the Raiders consider reuniting with Cooper? First, he's a proven commodity. He's not only a talented receiver with excellent route running and reliable hands, but he also possesses the experience that can be invaluable for a relatively young and unproven receiver room. Cooper has been a consistent 1,000-yard receiver in multiple seasons, and his familiarity with the Raiders' system and locker room culture makes him an ideal candidate. Plus, with the team's current roster, adding a veteran like Cooper could help accelerate the development of younger players and provide that veteran leadership that's often crucial in close games. But it's not just about bringing back a familiar face. The Raiders are clearly trying to build a balanced and dynamic offense, and having a veteran presence on the outside can make all the difference. Remember, they've invested draft capital in young receivers, but they still need that steadying influence, someone who can step up in critical moments, make contested catches, and serve as a mentor for the younger guys. Cooper's experience and skill set fit this mold perfectly. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. The Raiders are in a bit of a transitional phase. They want to be competitive, and that means not only drafting well but also making smart free agent signings. The 2025 season could very well be a turning point for Las Vegas. The team has a core of talented players, including quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, who's been showing flashes of his potential when healthy, and a revamped defense that's looking to improve from last season's struggles. But offense wins games, and wide receivers are a big part of that. Now, in terms of the wide receiver market, there are some intriguing options besides Cooper. Players like Odell Beckham Jr., Brandon Cooks, or even Julian Edelman if he were to come out of retirement, could be on the radar. But Cooper's familiarity, proven production, and leadership qualities make him a standout candidate. Plus, the chemistry he's already built with the Raiders' coaching staff and quarterback could give the team an immediate boost. However, it's not just about signing a big-name veteran. The Raiders are also looking at how they can develop their younger players and integrate them into the offense seamlessly. That's why the drafting of Thornton and Beck was so strategic. They're betting on their scouting and development programs to turn these prospects into reliable targets. But realistically, rookies often need a year or two to fully develop, and in the meantime, having a veteran like Cooper could fill that gap effectively. Now, let's talk a little about the current state of the Raiders roster and what this potential addition could mean. The team has been building a culture of resilience and grit under head coach Josh McDaniels. The offense, in particular, has shown flashes of potential, especially when the offensive line holds up and Garoppolo finds his rhythm. But consistency has been elusive, and that's where veteran leadership and dependable playmakers come into play. Cooper, with his experience in high-pressure situations, could be the piece that helps turn this offense into a more dangerous unit. And speaking of the team's recent history, the Raiders have been a franchise that's known for its ups and downs, but also for its resilience and fighting spirit. They've had some incredible moments, like their memorable playoff runs and iconic players, but they've also faced challenges, including injuries, coaching changes, and roster rebuilds. This season, they're aiming to put those struggles behind them and establish a more stable and competitive identity. Bringing in a veteran receiver like Cooper could be that stabilizing force, someone who understands what it takes to win and can pass that wisdom along to the younger guys. Now, I want to highlight some stats for a moment because they really speak to Cooper's impact. Over his career, he's amassed over 700 receptions, more than 9,000 yards, and has been responsible for numerous game-winning catches. His ability to create separation and make contested catches is well documented, and his leadership on and off the field is often praised by teammates and coaches alike. For a team like the Raiders, which values toughness and grit, having a player like Cooper could be exactly what they need to elevate their offense to the next level. But of course, all of this hinges on whether the Raiders can come to an agreement with Cooper and if he's interested in returning. The market is competitive, and other teams might also be eyeing him, especially those looking to add veteran depth or bolster their receiving core. Still, the Raiders' familiarity and the chance to play in front of the passionate Las Vegas crowd could sway his decision. Plus, if they can get him on a reasonable deal, it might be a no-brainer for both sides. And let's not forget, the Raiders are also exploring other avenues in free agency. They've been linked to several other veteran players, not only at wide receiver but across the board, including offensive linemen, linebackers, and defensive backs. The goal is to build a balanced team that can compete at the highest level and perhaps make a real push in the playoffs next season. The addition of a veteran receiver like Cooper could be the final piece of that puzzle. Looking ahead, fans are right to be excited about what's possible. The team has shown a willingness to invest in young talent, but adding seasoned veterans is just as crucial. It's all about building a roster that can compete now and sustain success in the future. The Raiders have the cap space, the draft capital, and the organizational commitment to do just that. So, what's next? Well, all signs point to some serious negotiations happening soon. The Raiders are in a prime position to make a splash in free agency, and bringing back Amari Cooper or signing another veteran receiver could be the move that takes their offense to new heights. The fans will definitely want to keep an eye on any official announcements, because this story is far from over. And now, Las Vegas Raiders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think bringing back Cooper makes sense? Or do you prefer them to focus solely on drafting and developing young talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Raiders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Las Vegas Raiders news. This team is on the rise, and with the right moves, we could be looking at a very exciting season ahead. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, go Raiders!